I've been terrorized.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the world according to TC. Terry Crews, the original. This is you're listening in to WFOV 92.1 LPFM, Flint, Michigan, the Auto City. I would like for today. I have Mr. Lloyd Mays on the show. He's a correctional officer at Genesee County Regional Center. It's a detention center for the children that we have in Flint that violate the law. So I'm going to introduce you, Mr. Mays.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cruz. How are you today? And it's a pleasure to have me on your show.
You're fine.
It's an honor.
Yes.
My name is Lloyd Mays, and like Mr. Cruz say, I'm work at Genesee Valley Regional Center for youth that get detained at the detention center for various crimes. I'm a resident of Flint, Michigan, and I've been working there now since 1987. That'll be about 32 years, and every time I think I done seen it all, then something comes up, Mr. Cruz, that I say, oh my God, it's something different. Right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I went to college down in Alabama, and I was one of the major in criminal justice because I felt I could make a difference. Mm-hmm. And you have to have a passion. When working in corrections, you have to have a passion. If you don't have a passion, it's not going to work. No. And like I said, me being there for 32 years, it's kind of obvious. It must be something I like. Now, do the young ladies, the young men get on my nerves sometimes? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I remember what I'm there for, and I'm into teaching because I understand it's rough out here in these streets, and we're dealing with young ladies and young men now that, they don't have a chance. They didn't have a chance, some of them, mm-hmm. at birth, due to, the family structure in the home. So, like I say, I enjoy what I do, and as long as I can do, and if I can save one every now and then, that's my mission. If I can save one every now and then, can't save them all. But every now and then.
Mr. Mays, this was a miracle the other day to walk into you, and I said, boy, I got to get this guy on the show.
Yes, sir.
I wanted you on the show because we need all the help we can get with our youth.
Yes, sir.
All the help we can get. It all starts in the home, but we have to do better. We're going to have to do better at the home, and so you don't have such a crowded place out there, man.
That's right. and you're absolutely right about that because it all starts at home. See, when I was growing up, the Bible says it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
And the village, when I was growing up, was the neighbors down the street, the neighbors around the corner, the corner store owners, the teachers, the maintenance man at the school. Everybody had a part in raising a child. But now, because of laws, because of the system, it's almost seemed like it's designed for failure. Yes, because
sir.
What people have to realize, correctional facilities is a business. Mm-hmm. It's a business.
It is.
And, in order to keep the business open, you got to keep things going that not supposed to happen, that's supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. And so, like I say, I understand that. And so whenever there's an opportunity, I get a chance to maybe save somebody from getting into the system, that's what I try to do. That's my mission.
Right. Is to get them out.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What is the difference today when you first started in 1987? What is the difference in the criminal, young youth criminals that you have?
Back in 1987, when I first hired, now don't get me wrong, somebody commit murder, that's an offense. Somebody mm-hmm. arm rob somebody, that's an offense. Somebody carjack somebody, that's an offense. Mm-hmm. But the difference between then and now is between social media. Social media it's a destruction, it's a deterior. When I was growing up, you get 2 or 3 channels on the TV, and they was basic mom and pop shows, family shows. Right. Now you almost can see anything you want to see. And these young ladies and these young men now, like I say, they can turn the channel and see any kind of destruction they want to see. So back then, if someone came in the detention center and said, Mr. Mays, it seemed like I got a big case, and I tell them, I look at their record, I say, yes, you got a big case, and so you better say your prayers and tell your parents, get you a good attorney. Mm-hmm. Well, fast forward to now in 2020, somebody come in there and say, look, what you think I'm getting out? And I say, getting out, you got a pretty good case, you big case. and they don't. It seems they don't even care. It's almost like a badge of honor going to jail, you know, and not for all of them, but for the majority. And like I say, I contribute that to social media, the things they can see on TV. You know, you can get on your cell phone and look at any kind of thing, you know, and it just wasn't like that in 1987.
You know, we have a lot of unsolved murders in Flint.
Yes, sir.
And I knew the lady got shot. She got killed. She worked at Walmart, and she got taken her mother home from the hospital, and she got shot in the head, and nobody knows. And I understand they had it out that some people get their initiation by killing somebody.
That's right. That's right. That's one of the things when people join gangs, and that's a whole nother story. You know, just like I was saying earlier, it's a badge of honor to do something that you can go back and tell the people, this is what I did. This is what I did. And then you got the other part of it. There's the code in the streets is we don't tell, we don't snitch. So, like you say, it's a lot of unsolved murders around here, and it's unfortunate. But you know, and like I try to explain to the young ladies and young men, I say, wonder if that was one of your people, one of your relatives. When you want somebody to tell, they say, Mr. Mays, you don't understand. But if I tell, then it's going to be a problem for me. So, you know, that's what we up against nowadays.
What do you think the problem with the youth is today? The real problem?
Well, like we said earlier, it starts at home. That's number one. Like I said, when I was growing up, you know, the parents, I didn't care about the police. I didn't care about the principal at school, the teachers. It's what I'm going to tell mom and daddy. Well, nowadays, unfortunately, and it's no fault of the young men and the young women, but you have babies raising babies. That's a lot of the problem.
Right.
You know, when I was growing up, if I said, my parents said, well, you're going over Big Mama's house. Well, my Big Mama, she always had the same great Kool-Aid. You look forward to great Kool-Aid when you go down to Big Mama's house. Big Mama had a garden. Big Mama had roses and flowers and good meals.
Yes.
And so now Big Mama's is, unfortunately, 40, 45 years old. So, you know, they don't have time to have a garden. They ain't got time. They don't even know about that yet. And so that's part of the problem. It starts at home. And then once again, social media. You know, social media is a big distraction. Distraction.
Like I was telling you before, the last scrapping I got, I was a senior in high school. And I got that because me and another guy got into a fight on the bus. And the bus driver put everybody off on the bus, and when time for us to get off, he said, he walked in there and got Mr. Sladen. Mr. Sladen had a scrap in his back pocket, and he took us in that little nurse room we had in his principal office and strapped us real good, you know. And I couldn't tell nobody. My teacher slapped me, and because I was acting up, she slapped me, and we went to a banquet where my granddaddy was chaperone, you know, and the closer Miss Moultrie got to my granddaddy, the closer I got to her. I left the girl I took there and my mother and my stepfather at their table, and I got to Miss Moultrie. I said, Miss Moultrie, please, don't tell him. Don't tell him. You better not tell my daddy, because he'll kill me when I get home.
That's absolutely what I'm talking about. That's absolutely what I'm talking about. Don't tell him. And see, like I was saying, I was scared of my parents. Please don't tell mom and dad. I'd rather go to jail than to tell my parents. But see, right now we live in an era now, see, the system have taken prayer out of schools. The system have taken discipline out of schools. There's no more paddles now. There's no more paddles. No. And not only that, you know, they tell you now, if your parents whoop you, if your parents do this, if they see a mark on you for just, I'm not talking about a beating, I'm just talking about discipline. Then they say, tell the counselor, and then the counselor want to go tell the police and social service, and then the next thing you know, they knocking at your door because you disciplined your child. And so, you know, so the child almost seems to have an advantage.
You know, believe it or not, the police would rather you do it than take them downtown and they have to do it because they're unruly.
Absolutely.
Somebody have to do it.
Absolutely. But like I say, the rules. And like I said, once again, the system is designed, it's a business. If you lock them up, it's a vicious cycle. You know, you lock them up, you go through your attorney, your probation officer, this, that, and the other, and then before you know it, you become a product of the system.
Have you ever seen any repeat offenders there?
Repeat offenders, absolutely. Absolutely, and this is one of the problems, and it's major, and a lot of people don't understand because I've heard neighbors say, "Well, I seen that young man that get arrested, and now he's back out here, and now he's going back to jail again." Well, I'm gonna tell you what happened. You go back into the same environment. You go back into the same environment,
Nothing
and I've
changed.
seen a whole lot change while they're there. But when you go home, now if it's an adult can catch the bus, catch the Greyhound, and move to another town, go to a different environment.
Right.
But see, when you're a kid, you got to go right back home.
Right back
You're
there.
14, you're 15, you're 16. You got to go back home.
Right home.
And when you go back home, you right back into the same environment. You know, you get out, and your buddy say, "Hey man, how you been? Hey, come on over. I got a little something, something." And you know that's not what you're supposed to be doing because you're on probation. But peer pressure. Peer pressure is something else.
Killer.
And these kids, I mean, I don't fault the kids because they don't know. They don't understand because, you know, I have a thing where it's like a fraction. In a fraction, the numerator changes all the time, but the denominator stays the same. And so what happens, these kids don't have that strong denominator anymore. Like I say, you know, if my mother called me right now, I might have to get off the air and say, "Just a minute, Mr. Cruz, this is my mother."
That's
That's
right.
how I was raised.
That's right.
And so these newer kids, not all of them, but a lot of them, they say, "Oh, mama can wait." And see, when I was growing up, that was unheard of.
Let me tell you, my the boys when at Flint Academy told my son Terry, said, "Hey, your daddy's in school. See, up there all the time." Marcel knew it, and Terry knew it. I checked on my kids. I went up to the school myself because if I want to catch them messing up, I want to catch them.
That's right.
You know, I want to catch them, and they knew I'm subject to pull anything. And another thing, I had people ask me, said, "You go in your kid's room?" I said, "Yeah, I go in their room. That's my compound. That's what it is.
That's right.
That's my compound.
That's right.
And if there's anything in there, I'm gonna know about it."
That's right.
You see, people don't even know what their kids are doing.
That's right.
They can have guns, anything. But that's his privacy. He ain't got no privacy at my home.
That's right.
He did not have privacy at my home.
That's right.
And I'm gonna tell you, they still gripe about that. What they still gripe about it, I don't care.
And you know, I can honestly say when I was growing up, you know, when my mom and dad, some of my friends, they can go out, they can stay after 12 at the